Okay.
Okay, thank you everyone for helping me out today. Today we're going to speak about police powers outside primary jurisdiction. So we're going to be talking about municipal police officers within the state of Pennsylvania, what powers they have when they go outside of where they are assigned. And what we're going to be covering today is covered under in the MOPEC regulations, Title 53, Chapter 21, which you guys don't have to remember that, just if you want to look it up after the fact. It's also covered in the administration of the Municipal Police Officers Education and Training Commission, MOPEC, and also Title 42 in the Pennsylvania Consolidated Statutes under municipal police jurisdiction. I have information on that if you guys really want after the fact, but I'm going to cover the material that's the most important for you guys to remember. So what I'm going to show is a little video clip here. Ask you guys to watch it and tell me what your reaction is. Give me 1 sec to get to YouTube here.
A Mobile police officer has been fired, accused of following a motorist out of his city jurisdiction and then firing his service weapon at the vehicle. Now he may also face criminal charges. News 5's Alan Carter has the story.
For Mobile Police Chief James Barber, it was an offense that was entirely unacceptable.
We are an organization of rules, regulations, policies, and procedures, and any violation of those which endangers police officers or citizens we take very seriously, and you see us take very decisive action when it happens.
And now, not only is an officer out of a job, but could be facing criminal charges as well.
Very early into the investigation, but we know that the impact of the rounds was to the driver's side of the vehicle and different angles.
The incident happened early Saturday involving Officer Ivan Lopez, who had only been on the force less than 3 months. Chief Barber says Lopez was on DUI detail when he saw a car driving erratically. He allegedly followed the car out of Mobile and into Pritchard, finally stopping near the Galaxy Club.
There was a confrontation between the officer and the driver where the driver tried to re-enter the car. The officer fired a taser initially, and as the driver began to drive off, fired at least 5 rounds from his service weapon into the driver's side of the car.
The driver was able to get away, and Officer Lopez did report the shooting, but for a while, police did not know if anyone was actually hurt until it was investigated by Internal Affairs.
When we made contact with the driver, we found that he did have minor gunshot wound to the left calf area of his leg, and then a grazing wound to the right calf area of his right leg. We suspect that those came from the shots fired by the Mobile police officer while in prison.
The chief says Lopez apparently also knew the victim from years ago during a time when he worked for Pritchard Police. In fact, this isn't Lopez's first time being accused of wrongdoing. 4 years ago, while being a Pritchard officer, he was accused of trying to run a woman off the road on the causeway. That case, however, was dismissed in circuit court. And the investigation by Internal Affairs will be turned over to both the District Attorney's Office and the FBI, and that will lead to a determination as to whether criminal charges are warranted. Reporting live in the newsroom, Alan Carter, News 5.
Are you ready for this? I got a new laptop. Computer was sitting in the lost and found it.
Okay, and you're back. So, does anyone have any comments on what you thought the police officer might have done correctly or incorrectly?
I thought it was legal if he was in pursuit. If he'd have turned his lights on in jurisdiction and followed the purple, I thought that was legal.
Okay. Anyone else have any other comments? What you think might have been right or wrong from the video?
Shooting the guy. I mean, if it was a life-threatening situation, keep going after him. But for something like that, you know, just write down the license number, you know, shoot at somebody for that. That's
Yeah, and
my
actually,
opinion.
he didn't even know that he shot him, right?
No,
Until sometime
apparently
later,
not.
it sounded like. So,
But he shot 5 shots and it hit something.
yeah.
I would think so. I could have done it. I could have hit something.
Right side of my car.
Okay, so there was a reason why I asked you kind of beforehand, before we went over the actual regulations. Now this, of course, is just governing Pennsylvania. That happened in another state, but it was just an example. So under Title 53, Chapter 21, MOPEC, that's what sets the standards that establish the Municipal Police Officers Education and Training Program, defines what a police department is, mandates what areas police officers need to be trained in. It also determines what standards the officers need to meet in order to be certified as a police officer. So under Title 42, a municipal officer does have authority anywhere in his or her primary jurisdiction, and that usually encompasses a geographical area within which the officer is hired. So for example, like Logan Township, your municipality would be Logan Township, Huntington Borough, within the borough. So now we're going to get into when can a municipal officer take action outside of their primary jurisdiction, but keep in mind this is still within Pennsylvania. So if they're acting pursuant to a court order issued in the officer's primary jurisdiction with the consent of police in a jurisdiction where the order is to be served. Say, for example, you have a search warrant that was issued by a judge in your area, but you need to serve it in the neighboring municipality. That's fine as long as you reach out to the neighboring municipality firsthand, let them know what you're going to be doing. If an officer is in hot pursuit of a person when the offense was committed or believed to have been committed in the officer's primary jurisdiction, that kind of goes back to where the video that I was showing. The offense occurred within the municipality where the officer worked. He's in hot pursuit. He witnessed the offense and then he takes off after the guy. Could also have, if you have a bank robbery or something, where you see the offense being committed in your area, you're allowed to pursue them outside your area into the neighboring area. You're also allowed to go outside your primary area if you're assisting another police department at their request or if you have a reasonable belief that their assistance is needed. If you hear the neighboring police department calling out that they're in a fight with someone, you don't need to wait to be asked. You can assume, hey, that guy needs my help, I'm going to go help. Or if they ask you, hey, we're going to break up a fight, there's a lot of people there, can you guys scoot over and help me out, you're allowed to leave. Another time that they're allowed to leave their primary area is if you receive permission from the neighboring police to perform a necessary duty relating to matters that occurred within your primary jurisdiction. For example, that I gave before, if you're serving a search warrant, call the neighboring police department. You can go outside your area to serve that search warrant. If you're on official business outside your area and you view a felony, misdemeanor, or another act which presents an immediate danger, you also have to take care to make a reasonable effort to identify yourself as a police officer. Say, for example, you were outside your area serving that search warrant, you see a little old lady getting mugged on the street. You're allowed to take action. It's a serious offense. You should take care to try to identify yourself as a police officer beforehand. Typically you're going to be in uniform or have a badge out or something. But something like that, we're not expecting you to wait and call the local PD. You're allowed to take action as long as you were there for a legitimate purpose when you witnessed the infraction. So with those in mind, we're not going to rewatch the video because we're running out of time. Does anyone's opinion change on what the officer did correctly? I know you said that it occurred within his primary area, so I would say, at least in Pennsylvania, he was allowed to pursue him. Now, what happened afterward, the shots that were fired, is another issue entirely that we're not going to go over today, but at least in Pennsylvania, I would say the pursuit was justified to go from his area into the next. So to sum up what we talked about today, officers are allowed to take action outside of their primary jurisdiction only when certain conditions are met. The big thing to take away is if you're outside of your primary jurisdiction and you take action, make sure that you were there for a legitimate reason, not that you're going to visit your girlfriend or you're going to Burger King or something. Make sure that you're supposed to be there because you're going to be questioned about it. Also keep in mind, if the violation is something that's minor, it's not worth losing your job over to be questioned for something you did you're better off to get as much information as you can, take down the identity of the person, and call the local PD, because it's not worth losing your job over. Anyone have any questions?
I just have a
Comments?
comment. Isn't it interesting about the media? You know, I'm a Trump supporter and I'm a conservative, but isn't it interesting with the media that they had to bring up that the cop had some other issue with running a woman off the freeway or something like that? What was pertinent?
Well, I think, I don't know, it was irrelevant, I think, because it happened there. I don't know. Of course, he worked for that town at the time, so I don't
Maybe
know
that's why
what
they,
it was.
maybe that's
Yeah,
why
it's
they
just
brought it up.
interesting that it wasn't relevant, but maybe they're showing a course of conduct. But,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
always
maybe.
something that we have to battle is media
I know.
perception of what we do when you have a split second.
Best
to make a
thing is to
decision.
wear those body cams, because that way you can
When they're
have,
coming.
yep, yep.
Any other questions, comments?
The big guy in the back, I am.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, for your time. I
Okay,
appreciate it.
great.
Thank you.